Начинается церемония вручения верительных грамот. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Австралии в Российской Федерации Грэйм Лесли Михан. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Королевства Марокко в Российской Федерации Лотфи Бушаара. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Китайской Народной Республики в Российской Федерации Джан Ханьхуэй. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Королевства Швеция в Российской Федерации Малена Март. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Федеративной Республики Германия в Российской Федерации Геза Андреас фон Гайер. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Ирландии в Российской Федерации Брайан Маккелдов. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Сербии в Российской Федерации Мирослав Лазанский. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Сингапур в Российской Федерации Садасиван Премджит. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Королевства Камбоджа в Российской Федерации Сейла Яат. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Греческой Республики в Российской Федерации Екатерине Нассика. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Ирак в Российской Федерации Абдулрахман Хамид Мухаммед Аль-Хусайни. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Алжирской Народной Демократической Республики в Российской Федерации Мухаммед Шериф Курта. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Монголии в Российской Федерации Дулам Сурен Даваа. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Тунисской Республики в Российской Федерации Тарак Бен Салем. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Исламской Республики Иран в Российской Федерации Казем Джалали. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Народной Республики Бангладеш в Российской Федерации Камрул Ахсан. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Соединенного Королевства Великобритании и Северной Ирландии в Российской Федерации Дебора Джейн Броннерт. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Новой Зеландии в Российской Федерации Сиалеи Аллегра Ван Тур. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Канады в Российской Федерации Элисон Мэри Леклер. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Французской Республики в Российской Федерации Пьер Леви. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Соединенных Штатов Америки в Российской Федерации Джон Джозеф Салливан. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Панама в Российской Федерации Эфраин Вильяреаль Ареналес. Чрезвычайный и полномочный посол Республики Казахстан в Российской Федерации Ермек Биделбаевич Кашербаев.
Уважаемые коллеги, дамы и господа.
Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I heartily welcome you to the Kremlin and the official ceremony of the presentation of the letters of credence and congratulate you as you have officially commenced your diplomatic work here in Russia. You've been entrusted with an important and responsible mission to facilitate the development of multifaceted relations between the states that you represent and Russia. We assume that you will pay much attention to the issues of expanding the political dialogue, trade and economic ties, deepening cultural and humanitarian exchanges and people-to-people contacts. And we are genuinely interested in the work on these key tracks done by the embassies that you are heads of being successful. Meanwhile, you can always count on the assistance rendered by the Russian government authorities, business and civil society communities. And all your useful initiatives and endeavors will be definitely supported. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. In May, Moscow will hold official events to celebrate the great victory, and we expect the leaders of foreign countries and many foreign delegations. And we do that to honor the memory of millions of those who were killed and pay homage to veterans and demonstrate our commitment to the ideals of peace, freedom, and justice. Those were the ideals that the victorious states, members of the anti-Hitler coalition, took as the basis of the post-war world order enshrined in the United Nations Organization Charter 75 years ago. Unfortunately, today the humankind found itself once again close to a red line. Regional conflicts become more numerous. Threats of extremism and terrorism increase. Arms control system has been collapsing and the global economic situation is unstable. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's ceremony is attended by the heads of diplomatic missions of the 23 countries of Europe, Asia, Africa, America, and Australia. As tradition has it, I will say a few words about our bilateral relations. Russia is for building cooperation with Australia in pragmatic and business-like manner. We support the implementation of mutually beneficial joint projects by the business circles of the two countries and facilitate the expanding humanitarian contacts. We are satisfied with the current state of affairs with Morocco. Our states have achieved good results in bilateral trade, in agriculture and sea fishing. There is room for bringing Russia's cutting-edge technology and science know-how to the Moroccan market. Our relations with the People's Republic of China are on a uniquely high level. It is indeed a comprehensive strategic partnership. We've been consistently expanding our bilateral trade turnover, and we've launched a gas pipeline called Power of Siberia. We're developing contacts in the sphere of defense and military and technical cooperation successfully. April will see the beginning of the Russian-Chinese cross-year year of scientific and technical and innovation cooperation. Our countries coordinate positions on the key issues on the global and regional agenda. We work in a concerted manner in such multilateral organizations and associations as the UN, BRICS, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. China and all of us have just faced the threat of coronavirus spreading around, and China's leadership has been taking resolute and decisive measures to stop the outbreak of disease. And we are ready to render our friendly Chinese nation every assistance and support. We're interested in expanding cooperation with Sweden in the spirit of neighborliness and mutual respect. The negotiations I had last year with Prime Minister Stefan Löfven showed that our countries have capacities to step up contacts in economic, cultural and humanitarian spheres and to work together on the issues of the Baltic Sea and other regional affairs. Russia attaches big importance to building constructive cooperation with Germany. We've been regularly discussing the topical issues on the international and bilateral agenda with Chancellor Angela Merkel. We've supported the idea of convening a conference in Berlin devoted to the Libyan settlement and to connective part in it. Russia and Germany have been deepening mutually beneficial cooperation in the sphere of trade, investment and energy. And we intend to further cooperate in this positive manner. Russia and Ireland are willing to cooperate more closely in trade and economic sphere, including in the sphere of high-tech and innovation, as well as agriculture. There is room for a bilateral cooperation in the sphere of education, culture and other humanitarian spheres. Russia and Serbia are bound together by a strategic partnership that draws upon the traditions of friendship, cultural, spiritual and historical affinity of our brotherly peoples. In December last year in Sochi, I had substantive conversation and talks with President Alexander Vucic, and we have reached a number of substantive agreements related to the development of Russian-Serbian cooperation on the whole range of issues, including the spheres of economy, trade, energy, culture, and the settlement of regional issues. Russia takes many efforts for the situation in the Balkans remain stable and safe. We stand for Belgrade's, Prishtina's finding a viable and comprehensive and mutually beneficial solution on the issue of Kosovo based on the UNSC resolution 1244. Singapore is Russia's very promising partner in the Asian-Pacific region, and we highly value the political dialogue established between our countries, which actively facilitates the promotion of practical cooperation. Reciprocal trade and investment flows will be further boosted by the implementation of the agreement on free trade in goods signed between the EA, EU and Singapore in late 2019. And we expect to reach a Russia-Singapore agreement on services and investment. Our relations with the Kingdom of Cambodia are viewed as relations between friends and partners. We are interested in furthering them in different spheres, including in the sphere of politics and security, trade and investment, educational and humanitarian exchanges. I'm confident that further development of the interaction between Russia and the Hellenic Republic is in the interests of our countries and definitely is in line with the centuries-old traditions of friendship and affinity that our peoples share. Apart from cooperation in politics, economy and energy, there are good opportunities for expanding contacts in the sphere of tourism and culture. And in this context, I would like to note the current cross-year of language and literature. We have accumulated considerable experience of Russia's cooperation with Iraq in different spheres, including in the sphere of fuel and energy. Russia has been consistent in supporting the preservation of sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Iraqi state, and we render active assistance in solving security issues of the country. And we assume that the tasks of internal political stabilization in Iraq should be solved within a broad national dialogue, reckoning with the interests of all citizens of the country, regardless of their ideology, ethnicity, and religion. Russia has strong friendly relations with Algeria. The presidential elections that took place in late 2019 became a serious step on a way to political and social and economic changes in your country. We support the balanced policy in the international and regional affairs pursued by Algeria, and we can see good prospects for stepping up economic and military and technical cooperation and coordination in order to reinforce stability and security in North Africa and the Saharan region. Quite recently in Berlin, I had a brief discussion with the President, and I hope to see him in Russia. Mongolia is our good friend and time-tested neighbor and friend, and last year we celebrated the 18th anniversary of the victory in the battles of Halkhingol, and we signed an agreement on friendly relations and comprehensive strategic partnership that has an indefinite term. We believe it is appropriate to make our political interaction even closer through specific projects in trade and investment and humanitarian spheres. We're satisfied with the three-party discussion with China and Mongolia, and we welcome Mongolia's more active engagement in the activities of the SCO. We intend to further expand the bilateral cooperation with Tunisia. It is one of our traditional partners in the Middle East and North Africa. We are ready to cooperate on the topical regional affairs, including the Libyan settlement. Russia's relations with Iran are friendly and are based on mutual respect. We've been gradually implementing big bilateral projects in energy, including nuclear energy, railroad transportation, and many other spheres of economy. Additional fillip to the development of Russian-Iranian trade and investment ties was given by the entering into force of the interim agreement that results in the establishment of a free trade agreement between Iran and the EAEU signed in October 2019. We intend to further strengthen interaction with Iran in the sphere of countering against terrorism and coordinate steps within the Astana format to facilitate the settlement in Syria. Russia will continue to take efforts to preserve the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action on Iran's nuclear deal, and we believe this international agreement is of critical importance for the global and regional stability. Russia's relations with Bangladesh are developing rapidly. Trade volume has been on the rise, and together we implement a large-scale project on building Bangladesh's first nuclear power plant called Raipur. In view of our similar approaches to many burning regional issues, we hope we will further interact closely within the UN and other multilateral organizations. The current state of affairs between Russia and the United Kingdom hardly satisfies both sides, and we are confident that the restoration of a political dialogue based on mutual respect, strengthening trade and economic exchanges, and enhancing cultural and humanitarian contacts is in our common interests. We are ready for that. We stand for the development of contacts with New Zealand in trade and investment in humanitarian spheres. We believe it is useful to cooperate on the international issues, including countering terrorism and the issues of climate change and the research of the Antarctica. We are open to cooperate with Canada on the basis of mutual respect and consideration of interests. Our countries are neighbors in the Arctic, and they bear common responsibility for the stable development of this vast region and the preservation of the traditional life of the indigenous peoples and treating its fragile ecosystems with great respect. France is our key international partners, and we are in constant contact with President Emmanuel Macron. We meet regularly and discuss such topics as the settlement in Libya, Syria, and the Middle East by and large, and cooperate on the Ukrainian crisis within the Normandy format. During the bilateral summit in the fort of Brégançon last August, we agreed to start working together on ensuring stability and security in Europe. The economic ties between Russia and France become stronger, including in the industry and energy. The 16th of January saw the beginning of Russian Seasons Festival in France, and it is designed to contribute to strengthening friendship and mutual understanding between our countries. It is on the state of relations between Russia and the United States of America that the stability and predictability is based, and we believe that these relations should draw on the equality, the respect for sovereignty, and non-interference into the internal affairs of each other. We are ready for a comprehensive dialogue with the American side, including in the sphere of arms control and strategic stability, fight against terrorism, and the settlement of regional crises by peaceful means. It is very clear for us that bringing the bilateral interaction back to normal, making it comprehensive and constructive again, is in the interest of Russia, the US, and the world in general. We stand for further development of ties with the Republic of Panama and the improvement of legal and contractual basis of cooperation and the strengthening of contacts on the economic issues will further encourage the educational exchanges and help train the personnel from Panama. Our relations with Kazakhstan is an example of a reliable strategic partnership and alliance. Our bilateral cooperation is based on strong historical, cultural, and humanitarian bonds between our peoples. We highly value the high level of trust and mutual understanding with the leadership of Kazakhstan. Last year, we held 9 meetings with the President Kassym-Jomart Kemilevich-Tokayev, and we definitely enjoy close contact with our good friend Nursultan Nazarbayev. By and large, it is due to Russia and Kazakhstan's joint efforts that the interaction within the EA-EU is in progress, and trade and economic ties between our countries are expanding on all tracks, including industry, energy and investment. Russia and Kazakhstan closely coordinate approaches on the issues of international agenda. Kazakhstan's friends, as it is known, provided the venue for the organization of the Astana negotiations process to settle the crisis in Syria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all of you are going to do strenuous work, and that is nevertheless very interesting. I hope you will be able to take a closer look at Russia, feel its heartbeat, so to say, and see how the country fulfills important big tasks of political, economic, and social development. I also hope that you will make a real contribution to boosting bilateral ties between Russia and the states that you represent and facilitate the enhancing of friendship and mutual understanding between our countries and peoples. I wish you success and all the best. Thank you very much.